moment, we are going to discuss about HackerRank problem on sparse arrays that's part of week 1 exercise. The problem statement goes like this. There's a collection of input strings and collection of query strings. For each query string, determine how many times it occurs in the list of input strings. Return an array of results. The result will be number, which is number of times the query appears in the input string. Here is an example. The input string has AB, AB, and ABC. Basically, there are two instances of AB and one instance of ABC in the input string. The queries are AB, ABC, and BC. So we need to find how many times AB occurs in input string, how many times ABC occurs in input string, and likewise how many times BC occurs in input string. There are two instances of AB, one instance of ABC, and zero instance of BC, just as I said. For each query, add an element to the return array. So results will be 210. It means AB occurs two times in the input array. ABC occurs one time in the input array and BC occurs only 0. There is no occurrence of BC in the input array. The function description is like this. Complete the function matching strings in the editor field. Here is the matching string we need to implement. The function must return array of integers. It should return the count like this, representing the frequency of occurrence of each query string in the input string. Matching string takes two parameters. It takes the input string, it takes the query string, and it returns the array of results in int32. So the input format will be like the input format is something that we don't need to build because it's already predefined as part of correct definition given here. However, it's good to know how it is defined. The first line contains integer n, that is size of string, and then followed by n elements that forms the array line by line. The next line contains q, which is size of the query array, and then follows the elements of array query. Constraints. The size of the array n and q is going to be between 1 and 1000, and the array elements are going to be between 1 and 20. The example is given here and that is defined based on the input format here. N corresponds to 4 here. That is number of elements in input string, which is ABA, BABA, ABA again, XZB. The 4 elements in the input string. Then comes the size of the query string, which is 3. The elements of the query string are ABA, XEXB, and AB. The result or the output should be count of number of occurrences of query on the input string. ABA occurs twice in the input string. XEXB occurs only once and AB occurs none. So it's 2, 1, 0. Likewise is a second example and self-explanatory. There's a third example here and so forth. So let us implement it right away. To solve this problem, we are going to make use of frequency map. It's going to be a hash map. The index of the hash map is going to be the input string, and the value is going to be the frequency of occurrence of the input string in the strings array. So here we are going to iterate over strings array and compute the frequency of each string in the strings array. ABA occurs two times. So it's going to be frequency. As we walk here, we're going to make it 1, and then as we reach here, it's going to be, so initially it's going to be 1, BA is also going to be 1, XB is also going to be 1. And when we hit here, this is going to be changed as 2. With this frequency table, we walk over queries array. Now, ABA occurs two times in the input string as per this frequency map. And so we add up 2 to the results array. XAXB occurs once. And so we add 1 to the result array. AB is not found in the frequency map, and so we return 0 to the result array. And we finally return the result array as 2, 1, 0 for this example. With this background, we'll go ahead and implement. When we begin with implementing matching strings, I'm going to shrink up the size of this window and focus on only matching strings. Matching string takes two parameters, input string and queries, and return results of type int32. The result is going to be the count of number of occurrences of queries in the input string. So just as we had discussed during our visual walkthrough, we are going to make use of frequency map. I want to create a frequency map right here. Create a frequency map. And that's going to be a hash map. So fmap make map of input string and frequency is going to be the value. So that's going to be int. And here we are going to have string. We are going to iterate over the input string and compute the frequency map. Iterate over strings and compute frequency. And that we are going to achieve through a range loop. str colon equal to range of input string, that is strings, fmap of str plus plus. So now, by end of this loop, we are done with frequency map computation. Now we create the result array. Results colon equal to make a map of int32, and that's going to be len of queries. For every query in the queries array, we are going to compute the result. Now we walk over the queries and verify the query in the queries array is available in the frequency map and pull out the frequency count from the fmap. Walk over queries and grab the count of query in input string for idx, query, range of queries, results of idx is equal to fmap of query. return results. We need to make this in 32. Yep. So we're done with the implementation. Now we are good to run. Takes a while for processing. Appears to be a compilation error at line 3. Line 60 belongs to main function which is not defined by us. It's part of the code that comes from HackerRank. Seems to be applying trim space on a slice. Okay, we are encountering this because string start trim space is being used as slice and which doesn't have the trim space method. I'm just going to cut off this and see if things work. Okay, our matching string function looks perfectly good. Going to run this now. Excellent. Oh yeah, it works. Okay. Sometimes there can be problem in the code provided by the platform itself. You'll be fortunate if everything is working as expected. Let's submit and see no other problems are encountered. Looks okay because all of them are green. That's perfect. So we've been able to successfully identify the count of number of occurrences of query string in the input string and accumulate that in the result array for run. That's it.